28-year-old Tyler James Daisy is behind bars for killing his 46-year-old mother Jennifer Ann Daisy and their pet dog. At around 8:50 a.m. on Thursday the 18th of January, a friend of Jennifer contacted authorities after finding a body in the bedroom of a home at 1605 Avoca Street in Dubuque, Iowa. When police arrived at the residence, they found Jennifer deceased with 2 of her fingers severed from her hand, and she had significant lacerations to her head, face and neck. They also found the family dog dead from injuries to its head laying on the living room sofa, and a tactical tomahawk in the bathroom, and its sheath on the dining room table. Police then located Tyler laying naked in his room, and was not overly responsive to officers. He was transported to Mercy One Dubuque Medical Center for evaluation, and was later released into police custody. During an interview, Tyler told detectives that the tomahawk was his, and that he kept it in a toolbox in his bedroom. He also claimed his mother was practicing witchcraft against him, and had been doing so for years. When directly asked about Jennifer's injuries, Tyler invoked his right to remain silent. Tyler was charged with first-degree murder and animal abuse causing death, and is held at the Dubuque County Jail. On the morning of Friday the 19th of January, he appeared at the Dubuque County Courthouse via video. The Judge Mark Hostager set Tyler's bond at $2 million. Upon hearing this, Tyler began to laugh and told the judge it was always a pleasure before being led away. The investigation into the matter continues. 66-year-old Jerry Lynn Israel is accused of killing her 42-year-old son John Allen Gaither. At 5:43 p.m. on the 22nd of December, authorities responded to Jerry's residence at 2201 16th Avenue in Gulfport, Mississippi in reference to a welfare concern for John, who was reported as a possible missing person. Throughout the week, after conducting several follow-ups, detectives began noticing contradictions in Jerry's statements. She also became increasingly uncooperative and changed her statements multiple times. During the course of the investigation, Gulfport police learned that Jerry had been convicted of killing a woman in Florida in 1995 and driving around with the body in the trunk of a car for several days before dumping it in Indian River County. Armed with that information, at 10 a.m. on the 18th of January, authorities executed a search warrant on Jerry's home. At this time, Jerry consumed an unsafe amount of pills while detectives conducted a search of the residence, and she was transported to a local hospital for medical treatment. Detectives continued their search and found John's body in a large 6-foot-long wooden box, described by authorities as a military locker-style container, which was located behind a false wall. Police said that Jerry attempted to cover up the murder by writing notes to family members posing as her son. On Saturday the 20th of January, Jerry was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Jerry was taken to the Harrison County Adult Detention Center, where she's been held without bond. Neighbors of Jerry said she seemed to be a nice person, making casual small talk and keeping to herself. They also mentioned the same could be said about John, who was often seen working on cars outside the home. Police have not released the cause of death, and the motive of the killing is unclear, as the investigation into the matter continues. A 34-year-old man is behind bars for fatally shooting a 33-year-old woman in a domestic violence-related homicide. At just after 8 p.m. on Friday the 19th of January, authorities responded to the intersection of Central and Kenyon Avenues in Pawtucket, Rhode Island on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, they found an unresponsive woman laying on the sidewalk with gunshot wounds. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The woman was identified as 33-year-old Jocelyn Ducoto. Authorities said that Jocelyn had just left her work at a hair braiding salon at 440 Central Avenue when she was shot several times in the head from point-blank range. Witnesses reported seeing a grey SUV fleeing the scene following the shooting. During the investigation, detectives learned that the incident appeared to be domestic-related and identified 34-year-old Michael Fernandez as a suspect. Michael was located and arrested later that night. Michael was charged with domestic murder, discharge of a firearm resulting in death, carrying a pistol without a license, large-capacity feeding device prohibited, and domestic violation of a no-contact order. Jocelyn is survived by 2 young children. The investigation into the matter continues.